Hiya, I'm Jasper, and welcome to your video review for Transformers Rise of the Beasts. So, as always, I'm going to give the good, the bad, and the furry. To start off the furry, it's called Rise of Beasts, so there are beast-esque Transformers in this. And that's pretty much all. Moving on to the good and the bad. So, first off with the bad is that I saw this at an advanced screening. And if you like a movie enough to go to an advanced screening, why the fuck are you on your phone? I hope that if you are one of those people that is ever on your phone in the movie theater once the movie has started, I hope you get a paper cut from every single paper you ever touch for the rest of your life. And I hope you step on a Lego every time you go to the bathroom. Because fuck you and checking your phone. There must have been almost a dozen people doing that in the movie that I saw. And it was so fucking distracting. Stay off your goddamn phones. Moving on to this movie now. So, for those of you who don't know, Beast Wars was the greatest show ever made in the 90s and is still probably one of the greatest shows ever made today. So, they included some of the Beast Wars characters, sort of. So Beast Wars, for those of you who don't know, is also, it's on Tubi right now, and I believe that somebody also uploaded a like 4K upscaled version of it somewhere on YouTube. If I find a link, I'll put it in the description down below. But with the animation style that Beast Wars came out with initially, it's not going to make a whole lot of difference. If you are willing to accept the level of CGI, which by the way, it came out roughly the same year that Toy Story came out, but this was a TV show, I think you'll appreciate that. So, essentially, this movie, advertising, is all about the Maximals, and the Maximals are the good guys of the Beast Wars. And, yeah, so it definitely leaned heavily on that, and the nostalgia factor for those people who enjoyed Beast Wars. So, that is a show that I liked. I haven't liked Transformers the movies since ever, really? Like, I've seen every single one of them, and in theaters too, because big shiny CGI robots, like, I'm gonna watch it. But the stories have not been good, and part of the reason for that is that they are always so much about the humans. And when I go to see a giant robot battle movie, I don't give a fuck about the humans. Like, why are you spending so much time on the humans? I do not care. Do not care. Don't care, not one little bit. So in this movie, they start off with a big sexy hook of battles and robots and blah 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 going on, and that's great for like the first 2 minutes, and then the next 20 minutes there's like zero mention of Transformers, there's zero mention of Beast Wars, there's zero mention of anything robot-like. It's just about fucking random dude and random chick and their shitty lives and how they're going through it. And it's 2023, so of course, it's gonna be a not white dude and a not white chick being our main characters. And also, the only white people that we meet at all in this movie are assholes, because of course they are. And then it's just, there's so many bullshit excuses to have these people in the movie for any reason. Like, there's some shit happens, and then they're like, okay, we gotta go to someplace, foresty, so we can meet the Beast Wars type of thing. And they're like, well, I'm coming with you. And the Maximals could have just been like, good fucking luck, bro, I'm out, and then just pew. But they're like, well, we don't trust you or like you, but okay, we'll wait around for you to settle your fucking affairs before we go to the place that we need to get in order to save the fucking universe. So, but sure, let's take time to have you do your little bullshit personal business before we go and save the universe. Sure. And then there's this introduction, because how are they going to get there? Sure, you could drive, but that's a long drive. So they introduce random gigantic World War II plane. And I vaguely recall from, I think, Rise of the Fallen or Knights of the Kingdom or whatever, that there's old fucking Transformers. There was the World War II tank guy, and then the butler dude who was losing his mind. So I feel like this is one of those dudes, because he's old as fuck and falling apart. So they like, manage to fly. He's all rickety and shit. But like, and that's all fine and dandy. They don't give him a name. I don't think he ever talks. And he just fucks off for most of the movie. Like, okay, you literally ride a Transformer into the place where all of the shit is gonna happen, and then you just don't see him for like most of the rest of the movie. It's like, what was he doing? Why didn't you call him in? Like, what was he busy? Like, whatever. So yeah, they just continue to come up with bullshit reasons for having the humans in there. If you remember the Mark Wahlberg Transformers, when like the giant planet gobbling hangy leaves thing, Avatar style, was coming in, and then Mark Wahlberg finds like a space gun that resizes to him or something, and he's like pew pew pewing around, being like helpful all of a sudden because he has a gun powerful enough to take out the Transformers. Our human gets about that level of usefulness at some point. Sure, whatever. So for those of you who go to this movie expecting Beast Wars, clearly you didn't see a trailer. I saw a trailer and I was like, all right, it's not going to be what I want, but I'm going to go see it. So it's not what you want, but you're going to go see it. What I will say is that it is better than I expected in its treatment of the Maximals. So the voice actors for the Beast Wars characters in Beast Wars was absolutely fantastic. And my understanding is that those voice actors are still getting work today. Like the dude who voiced Megatron, David Kao, he did the voice of the whatever the ancient one thing was from the shitty Elementals movie. Not Elementals. The one with Angelina Jolie from Marvel Cinematic Universe. Doesn't matter. Point is, they're still working, but much like with the recently released Transformers TV show, where like the third season included the Maximals and Predacons, they didn't use the voice actors from Beast Wars because no fucking reason other than I assume that these guys are like SAG-AFTRA and have like a union, and then these guys were fucking cheaper. But in this case, they used famous voice actors. And what I will say is that I still think they should have used Beast Wars actors because you hang on that nostalgia base so much. Use the Beast Wars actors. The only Beast Wars actor that they used was the guy who voiced Depth Charge, and obviously Depth Charge isn't in this movie, but the guy who voiced Depth Charge voiced somebody else. But yeah, so they didn't use those same voice actors, but they did get famous actors. And I didn't recognize most of the voice actors that were used. Other than Michelle Yeoh, I feel she has a very recognizable voice, and I think that's awesome. And honestly, I'm not unhappy with her voicing one of the characters because I think she did a great job, and I think she captured the spirit. And that's what I will say is that the guy who voiced Optimus Primal, not the guy I would have chosen because I would have chosen the guy from Beast Wars, but he did do a good job. I think that they had an appropriate like depth of voice and gravitas to it. So I'm not happy with the choice, but they did choose well for not having chosen the best choice. And if you're concerned about like the other Maximals or whatever, just know that this movie is about Optimus Prime and Optimus Primal. The other Maximals don't fucking matter. They just don't. I don't even know if one of them needed a voice actor because I don't remember that one talking. I don't remember almost any of the others talking. So, which honestly, because of my as nostalgia and enjoyment of the original voice actors for that, I think they made the right choice of having the other Maximals talk as little as possible in order to do the things that they needed to do. So, yes. Yeah, so that was fine. CGI is fine. I think they had the appropriate amount of slow-mo, which was, honestly, it was almost none. Like, that one scene from the preview that was in slow-mo, that was in there, and not a whole lot of other slow-mo, which I'm fine with. I think that there was a couple that weren't, I wouldn't call it slow-mo, but they were like focus shots to be like, oh, see, this is where he gets the thing, and then, okay. So I wouldn't call it like a slow, sexy, but like, oh, it's more like a, hey, here's establishing, like, what's happening here. Boom. So, yeah, that was fine. It's a Transformers movie, so the story sucks. And then the other thing is that, like, I think one of my biggest gripes with things that doesn't make sense with this is that they make this big thing about, like, Scourge, who's the bad guy. I don't feel like that's a spoiler because I have no idea who the fuck Scourge was before this. I'm sure Transformers aficionados will just tear me apart in the comments, but whatever. I don't know who he is before this. He's in this, and, like, he's just basically like fucking these guys up, but it's just like, I'm the ultimate badass and I'm gonna fuck anything up that I want to, right? But then there's this point where there's a bunch of humans, like a human settlement between him and his goal. And instead of just like, and just like fucking rolling through houses and rolling through people or whatever, there's a very bullshit reason that he doesn't just go and do that. Like, it did not pass the smell test even in this movie. So that was probably my biggest gripe, is that I was just like, really? Really? You can't, yeah, you couldn't have just waited to introduce him to make it like make sense for why he's not just rolling through these people to get to where he needs to go. Whatever. So I do appreciate that. I feel like that, and I'm not going to rewatch the other Transformers movies, but I feel like with this one, they were trying to establish a character change for Optimus Prime. So I don't remember what he was like in the Bumblebee movie. I think he was in the Bumblebee movie, but basically, like, he's not happy with humans, not a trusting fan of them. And then I feel like in Transformers, the movie with Shia LaBeouf, I feel like he was a big champion of humanity. And I feel like this movie, so, you know, Shia LaBeouf Transformers, Bumblebee Transformers, I feel like this movie, Rise of Beasts, is showing that transition and showing how he could have an opinion change, and I like that they used Optimus Primal to assist with that. So that was good. You know, the weapon choices that they had for some of the characters were a little odd, and I liked that they had a bit more like pew-pew of energy blasts in this one, whereas from my vague recollection of the other Transformers movies, it was more like bullet firing, which almost didn't make as much sense. But then I also kind of wish that the energy blasts did a bit more damage, because it seems like they were a little underpowered. It's sort of like if you're firing phasers at a ship and the shield is just absorbing it. But in this case, they just look like, you know, regular metal, so how's that absorbing it? But I feel like there's like unobtainium or whatever explanation from the future Transformers that they're like, oh, it's special metal, but whatever. So overall, I would say it's not a great movie. I'd say it's good for, like, in terms of shitty to best Transformers big screen movie, I would say it's towards the top. In terms of just general movie, it's I mean, have it on the background at some point. See it on the big screen if you like giant robot movies that I like. You know, I watch it on the big screen because I like giant robot movies. I don't think that you will be like your nostalgia boner. I feel like you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay with this one. It's not Beast Wars, but I feel like how they managed to explain and integrate the Beast War characters into the already established Bay Transformers universe, I think that it's the best that they could do with this. Sort of like in Star Trek Picard, how they were like bending over backwards to make the nostalgia bait things possible, and some of it was like, really? But okay, I'm going to go with it because I like it. There's a little bit of that, but less so with the nostalgia, more so with just making it work for the universe that they were in. So, I guess decide for yourself if that description makes it more or less appealing to you. But I'm going to go with, I watched it. So, yeah, that's all I have for this one. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you at the next one. Bye.